Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. And today on my series on DIY, we're back to painting. In the previous videos, we've covered most things, but one thing we haven't covered is those little iffy places that we call frames. If you've got straightforward wood frames, you need to do something with them. Now, if you're actually going on top of paint, it's not too bad, but we're talking about brand new frames, which are wood. So let's have a look and see what we're going to be doing. So what we're going to be doing is round this frame. So as you can see, it's totally wood, but we need to prep it. So obviously you might have screw holes. What you need to do is fill them. And I've just used straightforward filler just to fill the holes up. And we'll get onto the nuts as well. But you do need to take your door off first. Or alternatively, you can just mask everything up that you need to mask. It just makes it easier to take off all those metal bits and pieces. And once again, before we do anything else, make sure you've got something protective on the floor. It just does make it easier for cleaning. And you don't really want to get any paint on your new floor. So now you know what we're going to be doing. First and foremost, what tools do we need? So let's have a look. First and foremost, you need your paintbrush. Now I've got a smaller one there, so I believe that's plenty big enough for the job I need. Also, methylated spirits for cleaning the brush. Also, if you're using knotting compound, you do need this to clean your brush as well. You do need sanding paper, basically finishing sanding paper, sanding block, and obviously masking tape and the scissors. Now, I'm going to be using this one today because it's much better than using this. Knotting compound's brilliant, but you still have to put your paint on as well. Now with this bin, this seals the knots as well, and it does your primer coat as well. So it does everything in one. So that personally is the best one to use. So there you go, that's the tools we need. So what do we do to start with? First and foremost, just give your tin a really good shake up. And that is it. You don't need to do anything else with your paint. Well, it's a sealant, not a paint. So let's move on and see where we're at next. Now I've actually filled all my holes up, so they're already covered. So all I'm going to be doing is sanding off. But you'll most likely need to be using some filler to fill all your little cracks and stuff up. So we'll be moving straight on with sanding. So all we're going to do is get your sanding block, and we're going to go all over the frames and over the edges. Only the bits you really need to start with. So we've now done our sanding. So what you need to do is get yourself a damp cloth, and all we're going to do is just wipe over everything we've done. It's just to get rid of all the dust, and also vacuum as well. Right, so all we need to do now is just let this all dry off, and it won't take long because it's quite a warm day today. Around about 5-10 minutes, just give it time, and then we'll be going straight over with your primer. It's probably most important. If you use this brand, you can't go wrong. Right, I'll see you back in a jiff. Now before we start doing any type of priming, do get some gloves on. They are cheap enough. Now just get your tin and give it a good shake up. Right, we're now ready to use it. So you can use this not in compound if you want to. You do have to use 2 coats of it. Now personally I don't like using it myself because over a period of time the sap does come out of the wood still with this, and it does leave little yellow marks. Best to use 2 coats of this primer. So you put it on, leave it, and then just go straight over it. There's no need to sand between coats. So it's easy enough to do. And all we do is straight down and paint it on. Now this stuff is very runny, by the way. It'll go everywhere if you're not careful. And in this temperature, it will go off quick because it is methylated spirits. If you come across a little hole like that you've missed with your filler, you can still fill it at this stage. Well, that's that. So what we're going to do, I'll carry on painting and then we'll come back in 45 minutes when we can do a recoat. Now, I'll show you what I've done. So I've done around all the frames. And once again, in this one's been done as well. Obviously, I'll probably need a bit of filling in there because you can see it's just pulled away a little bit. And this one out here, because it's not been finished out here, I've just basically primed it up ready. And I wasn't sure if I'm going to be moving these, so I've left these open. Well, there you go, folks. Wasn't that nice and easy? Now, if you find after 45 minutes your surface is a bit porous, you do need a second coat, and then that'll be best for it. This is now around about 90 minutes, so we're almost ready to do an undercoat. Though the tin says you don't need to sand it down, I would definitely put a 120 sand over the top, or even go a little bit higher than that. It's just to give it a bit of a start for your undercoat. Because to me, without actually doing any sanding, I feel as though I'm missing some up. And remember, if you've got 2 mirrors, they don't stick together. But if you've got a rough and a mirror, that's just for an example, by the way, it adheres to each other, so it won't come off. So if for any reason your top layer tears, you can see what happens. So you know where we're going next. Now, to find out how to do the undercoat and the top coat, I have actually already made a video. Now the link is going to be up there and at the end of the video, and also in the description you'll find the link. It just makes it easier to follow that video, and in that video it's actually doing the sills. And it's exactly the same. If you're doing a sill, a frame, is exactly the same way. The only difference is in doing a sill, I actually used a roller. I mean, if you want to roll it, fine, but I would suggest using a paintbrush this time. Paintbrush is much easier. It's a smaller area. If you've got big spans or like this, I mean, you can just roll them. Roll them and just run a brush over them. That's easy. But if you've got like edges like this, you really want to be able to cut in properly. And a roller doesn't really cut into that edge. You want it looking nice, don't you? Well, there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do so, please subscribe and please share. Now, I am actually going to be doing some more videos on painting and decorating very shortly. And one of them, if you haven't guessed by now, yep, we're going to be redoing my doors. Then, on another video, we're going to be doing my worktop, because I bought a brand new worktop. I'll do another video on that and show you what I've bought. So this is the finished door surrounds. And also the same on that one. Well, there you go, folks. We'll see you again very shortly on the Crazy Baker channel. Laters! This is the Crazy Baker Unleashed channel. Cars. Honest reviews. DIY. Toys. And behind the scenes of all the crap I buy. Old school memorabilia. Please subscribe and please share. Laters!